Alright, back again, Luke here, and today what I want to do is just show you some differences here between a regular Neo Geo, an unmodded Neo Geo, and a Neo Geo with the Universe BIOS in it. Show you where the BIOS is located and what you'll need in order to install it, and show you some of the cool things about having a Neo Geo Universe BIOS in here. So, first off, on the right here, this is just a regular Neo Geo, nothing's been done to it, still stock, and still has the stock controller. Nothing's been done to that as well. But we'll fire this thing on here and let's take a look at that. Now, the brightness on this might be a little bit bright, but hopefully you'll be able to see things somewhat. For the first one here, just wanted to show you that when you turn it on, it just jumps right into the Neo Geo title screen and then the game title screen, and you just start it up here and just jump right into the game. And it'll show you basic instructions on how to move the character. This is where it's probably going to get a little bit bright, hard to see. But nonetheless, you know, if you got a Neo Geo, it's still fun. It's a lot of, you know, it's really cool to play. But let's turn this one off here. And on the other side here, what we have is a modded Neo Geo. Now, from the outside, they both look identical. This one has the Universe BIOS in it, and I've done a little bit more of some modding here to the controller as well. Once again, if you just take a look at it, it just looks like regular controller, regular Neo Geo. But let's turn the channel here, and let's move this back, and we'll fire this one on. And one thing you'll notice right away is it jumps into the Universe BIOS and then goes into the Neo Geo startup screen. Now let's reset this here, and by holding down the 4 buttons A, B, C, and D, you can come into your memory card manager and do a lot of different things with your memory card. You can delete the data, you can create stored data. It's one of the functions of the Universe BIOS. Also, another thing here that I've done to this Neo Geo that I've already shown in a couple other videos is you can see it's got a light put in here for the reset switch. So it gives it a little bit more color. And then for those of you who haven't seen some of my older videos, what I've also done is in the controller here as well, it's got lights all throughout that, so when you turn the power on, the controller lights up as well. It's hard to see right now because the room's pretty bright, but when you turn off the lights, it glows pretty nice blue there. But let's get out of this. Go back into our title screen here. In here we have Sengoku going. But one thing that you'll notice is that all of the intro is in English. That's because the Universe BIOS right now is set to English. You can do different multiple settings here. You can set it into English, you can set it into European English, or you can set it into Japanese, I think. But by pressing on the start and select buttons here at the same time, hopefully you can get a shot of this, it'll bring us up into our game settings. Now throughout the game you can change these as you want. By pressing the A button, you can go in here and change your cheats, change infinite lives, things of that nature, and when you have everything set, you can just press C and back out of that. There's also debug settings that you can go through, check to see if the card's okay, if there's any problems with it, and it has a whole lot of different features to it. I'm not going to get into the BIOS here too much, because if you want to see more of it, you can find it at unibios.free.fr, and if you go there, you can get a lot more information on the Universe BIOS. But what I want to do now is show you the inside here and show you how this thing's hooked up. So let's disconnect the power cables here for both of these. And I'll show you what the inside of a stock one looks like, as well as the inside of the modded one. Take out all the hookups here. So here's our stock Neo Geo Aes system. I've already taken the screws out, but when you go to open these things up, there's going to be a screw located up here in the upper right hand corner. There's going to be one in the upper left hand corner. Then you're going to find another screw down here in the bottom right, and two screws along the side. There's one down here at the bottom and there's one on the corner here. The one underneath the furthest pad at the bottom here on the far left, there's nothing underneath it, so you don't need to remove it, or you don't even have to mess with it. There's a couple of ways that you can go about getting these screws out, and one of those ways is if the pads on the bottom here are worn out and you're thinking about getting new pads. For an example, these are some pads that I picked up at a hardware store, and these are pads that usually go on the ends of furniture legs, but they work really well, and they have a lot of cushion to them. So what I usually do is I just peel the old ones off and put on new ones. So if you're doing that, then you can just get at the screw really easily. If not, you can punch a hole through here, take the screws out. There's many different ways about doing it, but I've already removed the screws here, so let's take the top off. Here is the inside of the Neo Geo. Now, where the Neo Geo Universe BIOS goes is it actually goes over here on the furthest left, and it has a specific serial number on it, and if you look online and you check the Unibios site, you can find the serial number. But generally, for some of these AES models, the chip is in some different places, but generally it's over here located on the far right. These BIOSes are soldered in completely, so there's a couple of ways that you can go about changing out this BIOS. You can desolder the whole BIOS, and you can pull it out and put in a socket, which is what's recommended, but it really requires a lot of skill in order to get all of the points out, and it's not only soldered from the bottom, but it's soldered from the top, so you really got to remove all the solder. And the other way to do it is piggyback method, which is by taking the Universe BIOS, setting that on top of this, and soldering each one of the points down, so it's just sitting on top there. Let's take a look at the other one here. Take the cables out, set this one aside. Now here is the modified Neo Geo that I've done. One thing you'll notice too is there's a couple of wires here running around the back. In all of these Neo Geos, they have a small little red lamp that's located in the back here, and it's really hard to see, but when the power's on, you can slightly see it through the vents. But what I've done is, as well as a lot of people, what they've done is taken out that small LED and run a couple of wires here around to the button and put in an LED underneath the button. Now, in order to get these underneath the button, you're going to have to do some modification to the button. Let's pop this off. I don't know if you can see this or not, but inside the button here, I've carved out the inside so the LED can sit just inside that, and that's where it sits. So, pop this back on here. And here's the Universe BIOS over here. Now, for anyone attempting to put in a Universe BIOS, it's a little bit tricky, especially, even if you're really good with soldering. If you accidentally solder two points together, you'll come up with a big mess. So what you essentially have to do is try and push the Universe BIOS over the top if you're doing the piggyback method. And what you're going to need to do before you do that is these pins are run along here, along the bottom and the top. Starting from the bottom, this is pin number 1, and it goes all the way around here to the top, which is pin number 40. What you have to do is, from the PCB, you have to cut the original number 2 pin, and you have to cut it as close to the PCB as possible without breaking it. And you have to be careful about the PCB too, because it's really fragile, and if you accidentally make a mistake, you might mess up your board and not be able to use it again. So you have to be very careful. But what you do is you cut pin number 2 and you bend pin number 2 up just a little bit. And then pin number 2 on the Universe BIOS you also bend up. Now what you need also in order to get this BIOS to work is you're going to need 15K, it's a quarter watt, or it's a 15K quarter watt resistor. And what you're going to do is run that resistor here from the bottom of pin number 2 that you cut from the original BIOS, and you're going to run that to the stack, which is located up here on pin number 40. Then you're going to run a small wire from pin number 2 on the Universe BIOS and run that all the way here to pin number 20 and solder that in. Then you're going to solder in each one of the individual points, the leftover points on top of the other BIOS. And once you get that all done, you'll be all set. Now there is instructions online for how to do this. This is just kind of a little bit of a quick video on how I got mine put in. But if you want more information on it, I recommend going to unibios.free.fr and you can get more information on it. But that's all for me for right now, and like always, I'll put up another video here soon, so thanks for watching.